What is up, all of you awesome and amazing people on YouTube? The Old Coot here, coming at you with part 2 of this pan or pot cleaning video. As you can see, my roommate burnt the bottom of this pot. This happens to be like a 3-quart saucepan kind of a vibe going on. But what my roommate did was basically tried to clean it with soap and water and tried to scrub it elbow grease. And I said, no. There's an easier method to get all that burnt, caked on, whatever out of there. I think in this case it was Jello. My roommate tried to make Jello straight in the pot like this, which is what you're not supposed to do. The correct way to make Jello is to, like Jello pudding, is basically to boil your, or whatever it is, bring it up to a scald, your milk or whatever, and then take it off the heat, and then in a bowl mix the pudding mix with the milk, and that's how the correct way to do it. But anyways, in this case, they tried to do it on the pot, and they basically burned the bottom of the pot. You got a big mess. So anyways, my roommate did a really good job of trying to scrub and get most of this out of here, right? Most of this is kind of, at least I can see some of the bottom, right? If you can get to that point, even better. But what you do want to do is you do want to use some kind of like scouring brush or pad or whatever. No need to be aggressive. There's no need to use any kind of like steel wool or no, there's no need for that. You don't need it. I'm going to show you how to do it chemically with basically stuff, except for this, the stuff that you would normally have like in your house, I hope. But basically we're going to make a paste of Dawn dish soap, Heinz tomato ketchup, or just any kind of ketchup you can find. Whatever ketchup you can find. I'm not endorsing you going to fast food restaurants, convenience restaurants, and stealing ketchup, but hey, whatever floats your boat. I'm not endorsing it in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so Dawn dish soap. All you want to make is enough paste to just coat the burned areas, right? The bottom of the pan, the burned areas. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna open this up, Dawn dish soap, right? And I'm just gonna pour in like a little bit. Yeah, something like that should be okay. So maybe like a tablespoon, right? You don't need a whole lot. The thinner the layer of the paste, ironically, the more effectively it works. The more you put in there, what happens is that bottom part does its job and then it neutralizes, right? Which is another thing. No baking soda. If you're going to use vinegar and ketchup which has vinegar, and you use baking soda, the baking soda and the vinegar are going to neutralize each other and basically turn it into an inert substance, which is not going to do anything in your case. So what you're relying on here is the acidity of the ketchup and the vinegar to basically do their job. So anyways, vinegar is the next ingredient, and it really doesn't matter what kind of vinegar you use, but key note here is the stronger the vinegar, so like red wine vinegar, right? The stronger the vinegar, the better it's going to work. Will it work with white vinegar? Sure, of course it will. Will it work with pickling vinegar? Yes. But because I want a more stronger and effective, use, I'm going to use red wine vinegar, which is basically, I've transferred into this bottle because I don't want to deal with this thing. It's almost full. Well, anyways, so a little bit of vinegar goes in there, right? You just need about like a tablespoon or so. And then your ketchup, let's get that in there. And I basically want about a tablespoon or so, give or take. So let me go ahead and open this up. And we just want about a tablespoon or so schmutzing in there, right? About a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. Maybe like 2 tablespoons of ketchup is the ratio. So let's say in terms of ratios, it's 1 tablespoon of Dawn dish soap, right? This happens to be Dawn Ultra, whatever Dawn you like. Dawn of the Dead, whatever you like. Ketchup. Does it have to be Heinz? No, it could be whatever brand you like. Like I said, as long as it's, like I said, the stronger the tasting, the more effective it's going to work. And then vinegar, like I said, you could use pickling vinegar or white wine vinegar or whatever vinegar you want to use. But the stronger it is, the stronger it tastes in your mouth, the stronger it's going to work, in the pot. So basically now I have this little mixture here, right? And I've got a little bit of the vinegar. Now what I want to do is I want to mix this up. So I'm going to mix it up with my scouring brush or whatever. This one happens to have I guess let's call this like a medium bristle, the white ones. And then the gray ones happen to be like a stronger bristle. So all I want to do is just kind of smear this around. And a lot of times this will work instantaneously. Other times you just have to let it sit. And time, I cannot stress this enough. Time is on your hands. The longer, after you mix this all up and get a good paste out of this, the longer you let it sit, the more effective it's going to be. And what you can do to test to see if it's working is basically like every once in a while, I would say like every hour on the hour, just kind of go in there and move it around and just make sure that like you're seeing parts that are lifting. Like let's concentrate on this one area. And I'm just using one hand, right? Light pressure and just kind of rubbing it in there. And what I'm going to do is eventually I'm just going to let it sit. And I'm going to let it sit for however long it takes for like most of this stuff to come out of here. Usually, in this case, like as charred as it is right there and as burnt as it is, I would say something to the effect of like 6 to 12 hours should do the job. If you are able to leave it overnight, even better. Like just to make sure that you get all of this like brown bit action that dissolves. And again, I cannot stress this enough. Do not use baking soda, because the alkaline composition of the baking soda mixed with the acidic composition of the vinegar and the ketchup will neutralize each other and basically create an inert substance that won't do anything. So no baking soda. You just want to use ketchup, vinegar, and Dawn dish soap. Those are the 3 ingredients. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon, give or take, depending on the size of your pot or whatever. You just want a nice thin coat. And as you can see, I've just been like, stirring and mixing. Let me try to incorporate more of that vinegar back in there. So there you go. So now what I'm going to do is, see, check on the bottom. See, already a lot of it's coming off just naturally. And that's also the coloration of the ketchup and the vinegar regardless. But what I want to do is, I'm going to tidy this up. I'm going to smooth it out, right? Maybe using something like a silicone spatula or something similar. I'm going to smooth it out and then basically just let it sit. And I'm going to try to coat like all the sides. So when I say silicone spatula, I'm talking about one of these guys, right? This happens to be, I think, a Dehydrator, something similar. But I'm going to use one of these to kind of smooth out the sides, smooth out the bottom and whatever. And then in a couple hours or a few hours or whatever, we'll check it. But try to let it sit for a couple hours without touching it regardless. And just let the composition of the Dawn, the ketchup, and the vinegar do their job. Check it in a couple hours. Just give it like kind of like a quick brush and see if anything has like any big chunks have lifted off and that kind of thing. You get the idea. Anyways, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of when the next video in this series comes out. And also when you want to be notified of when my other videos come out. And I will catch you on the next exciting video. Down in the description, I will put links to maybe this scouring brush, maybe a few other things, maybe the silicone spatula and some other DIY, home tricks or hacks or whatever that'll help. But anyways, I will catch you all in the next exciting video.